Meetings law, I wish to state that on February 22nd, 2019, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township bulletin board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV Channel 97 and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Coggins?
Here.
Mr. Corson?
Present.
Mr. Young?
Here.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Here.
All members are present.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes both, from February 11th, both the regular and closed session minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Is there any corrections, deletions, omissions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Before we move on to the report of the governing body, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Henry. He's our new station head. Is it station commander? Okay. And please come up, and we welcome you, and we certainly enjoy having a great rapport with the state police, and you know it's always a pleasure to have you appear before us, and we welcome you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody giving me just a few minutes of your time. I know everybody's busy tonight. Just a brief personal introduction. My name is William Henry. I go by Bill. My badge number is 5356. I have 23 plus years of service in the state police. I've pretty much been everywhere and tried to do everything. I have 7 years experience on the road at various stations, actually every station within Troop A. 12 years in the Detective Bureau, 2 years in our Strategic Investigations Unit, 6 years as a lieutenant, unit head, or station commander. And personally speaking, I have a wife of 24 years, my biggest accomplishment. If that's on record, please send that to her. I have 2 kids.
You do realize you're being video recorded, right?
Yes. I have 2 kids, one at Stockton and one is a senior at Ocean City. Both of them have gone through Ocean City High School, very good high school. I'm very proud of that. I moved to Ocean City 7 years ago. I like to surf, spearfish, and do a little travel through Central America. On to some work. We currently have 36 troopers that patrol the 65, 66, 68 square miles of Upper Township. Our staffing remains the same over the past few years. Currently, since I've been assigned to the station for the past 2 weeks or so, we began updating the school emergency plan booklet for the Upper Township primary, elementary, and middle schools. We are also working on updating the Woodbine Station operational plan for 2019-2020 school years. One of our school resource officers is currently obtaining some advanced certification that'll better enable him to help out in schools. One of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, and one of the goals I set for this year, we're trying to use some advanced state police, it's referred to as ILP, intelligence-led policing software, to map and plot some of the high motor vehicle accident locations. One of the things I noticed when I came here, you have some busy roadways, especially in the summer. The accidents are kind of high in this area for a typical GP station in South Jersey. For example, you had 588 total motor vehicle accidents last year. So far in January, you had 52 as compared to 42 for last year. So it's actually increased. So one of the things we're looking to do is really get some visible deterrents out on the roadways, coupled with some aggressive driver patrols. So hopefully the next time you see me, one of the comments you'll be able to say is, hey, did you get some more troops at the station? We see a lot more cars on the road. More cars, visible deterrents, less speeders, less accidents. That's what we're looking forward to. Just a quick review, January stats. Again, before I got here, this is a credit to the previous station commander, Jody Chain, who I flip-flopped with. He's at the airport now, and I'm down here at Woodbine. Average response time for 243 calls was 8 minutes and 23 seconds. That's well below the state police average. So that's a credit to the troops on the road. They're really doing a good job spreading themselves out and getting to the calls that they're supposed to. The The station handled 71 serious investigation reports, 100 operation reports. They executed 70 arrests for various reasons, 14 DWI arrests, and handled 7 firearms applicant investigations. In closing, I'd just like to say I'm looking forward to serving the residents of Upper Township, as well as working cooperatively with our fire and emergency management partners and members of the Township Committee to help make Upper Township a safer community. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely welcome you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back. Scott, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yes, two things. Good evening, Mayor and committee members. Just to follow up on a report from our last meeting, the lighting at the community center, the 17 lights that were out have now all been replaced with the LED lighting. And as anticipated, it has provided much more significant amount of light thrown on on the court areas. So we're looking at another 41 lights to be replaced in this 2019 fiscal period. So we're going out now looking at prices for that to complete that entire project. And I want to thank Roy and Mike Jones for coordinating this whole process with Bucks Electric and our the vendor, which was Bright Ideas. Yes, thank you. 31? 31? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, and then the other thing I have, as a result of the wind today, I don't know if anybody noticed, but we lost another light pole out front through the quick response from Atlantic City Electric. They were out today to remove that pole, but there have been, as I reported last time, also issues with some of our older wood poles, which they are addressing. And we hope to, in very shortly, have them replaced, in a short period of time, have them replaced by the fiberglass type poles, and replacing all of those in our township parking lot area. So,
Okay.
and that is it.
Barbara.
I just have one thing. I'd like to request permission to attend the New Jersey Clerks Association conference. It's scheduled for April 30th through May 2nd, where I can obtain credits in elections, licensing, registrar, and finance, which I need to keep up my certification.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Thank you. That's all I have.
Nothing at this time, but we do have a number of items to close session.
Okay. Paul.
Thank you. I have a list. On Saturday, March 30th, between 9 and 10 a.m. at Amanda's Field, we'll be giving, the Green Team and myself will be giving out free tree seedlings. They're given to us by the DEP through a grant, no charge to the township, but we'll be giving them out free to residents if they want to come out on that Saturday, March 30th to Amanda's Field and get some free seedlings to plant in your backyard. Next, was contacted by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It's this time of a year where we need to update our beach management plan. That's the agreement that we work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the NJDEP and the township in how we operate on the beach. As far as where the regulated areas are, where we can have recreational areas, and essentially set up the protection areas for the various endangered and threatened wildlife that's on our beach. So we'll be starting that process next month, and I can keep the committee up to date on that. If there's a committee person that would like to attend some of the meetings with me as we move forward, just let me know, and I can keep you up to date on when those meetings are with those government agencies. The next, Kimmy County MUA contacted me. They're trying to update their contact list for the Solid Waste Advisory Council. That's a council where every municipality can send a representative in as part of the statutory requirements when they have to make recommendations operationally to do certain things. They have to have recommendations from the Solid Waste Advisory Council to enact them. Currently, I'm the representative and Roy Schoen is the alternative member. Wasn't sure if the committee wanted to change that or keep it the same as we move forward. They've let me know, we haven't had a meeting probably in about 2 years, but they have some initiatives coming up over the next year or so that they think that they're going to start having some meetings to make some decisions on some things. So they just wanted to get an updated list of who they'd like to have represented.
So do we need to make a motion to have them remain? I'll make a motion that we keep the list as we have it at this point.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young? And Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
And then I did send correspondence that I'd received to the committee from the county engineer regarding Hope Corson Road. That second part of the project is finally going out to bid to have the work completed. So that long anticipation. They're hoping to have the work done during the summertime. There will be, during that 3-month construction window, a 3-week period where there will be a detour of traffic where they will, they'll allow local traffic if you're a resident on that section of the street to access the street, but they're not going to allow through traffic.
So will they detour it on 9?
Yeah, so they'll essentially set the detour out on 9 and 50 to have you go around.
Because it wouldn't make sense for them to make it all the way down the Stagecoach only to be
Correct.
turned around.
Correct. And then if you're on Stagecoach, I think there's going to, if you're heading south, they're just going to push you, to have you continue down the Stagecoach to Catherine, and then you can make your way down that way.
Is there any, the problem is that Hope Corson is a controlled intersection. If they move people to Catherine, it's not a controlled intersection. Do they foresee any problem there, a temporary light, maybe?
Yeah, it's not a wide residential road either.
I don't think that they had anticipated that. I think that they're figuring the amount of traffic that's coming down Stagecoach that would be heading in that direction is.
I think the biggest thing is going to be the sand trucks and the concrete trucks.
I think that they're going to be talking to Action Supply to try to get them to
Go out to 9.
and reroute their traffic that way.
That would probably be a prudent thing.
Is there a traffic control plan?
Yes. If you look at the email, it's in, they have the detour plan as well as the full set of construction plans. And then the last thing I had was the restriping of Commonwealth Avenue. The county engineer just wanted to check in to let us know that they're still moving forward with that project. They have submitted a plan for that parking area on the sea aisle side. They are not going to be able to have that open for this summer season. So they were just trying to get the temperature of the committee to see whether or not you would still be acceptable to have the restriping done before this season, even though the parking may not be 100% completed by the time.
No.
No, I don't think that's a good idea at all, especially considering some of the letters we're already getting from Strathmere residents concerning parking over there.
I just thought I would ask. I kind of thought that might be you.
Couldn't get the words out.
He asked it so calmly, and, we've had this discussion before.
Exactly.
When
I
you
think
take
the
away
park-
200 parking spaces, you have to replace it somewhere.
The parking lot needs to become before the striping.
Okay, I will.
And tell them,
Simultaneously.
not Simon, the parking lot must come before the striping.
I will convey that to the county engineer and let him know that that's still the stance.
I hope CL would support us.
That's all I had for this evening. Thank you.
He's calling it quits before.
I saved the best.
Yeah.
For last.
Get while the getting's good.
Barbara, do you have anything for us this evening?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay, Committeeman Coggins.
Well, it looks like we've pretty well wrapped up the budget that we're going to introduce. I just want to give my appreciation to our CFO, Barbara Spiegel, and all of our department heads for the amount of participation that they had in the budgeting process. It was a pretty good and painless process this year, and I think it's going to go well for everybody.
I agree. Committeeman Young.
We're starting to get geared up to sign up and for baseball and the spring sports, so we'll start, having some numbers and some ideas when their season's going to start, so we can jump on the fields and get them ready. Also, we're working right now on the date for the car show for the fall and the Fall Fest. It appears right now that Mr. Fleming is going to make every effort he can to have it there on November the 2nd. It's his last hurrah. So we're going to, I got Larry looking and I'm looking right now at the dates, both sides of that, so we can determine what's the best time for us to have the show. But we'll be working on that, try to get that on up on our board and schedule as quickly as we can. Other than that, that's it.
Okay. Let's not rush the spring and the summer. We're already talking about the fall.
Hey, got to advertise.
Deputy Mayor Barr,
I have nothing to report this time, sir.
Committeeman Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Saturday was our last dog clinic we had for the rabies clinic. And there were 70 dogs and 16 cats. We've licensed over 700 dogs so far for the season, so that's a credit to our clerk and the clerk's office there for getting things out there and making people aware of it. I would like to personally thank Roy for sending somebody out Friday, I think, to help rescue a cat off a fence for the rescue, or for animal control. They actually asked for the fire company. I said no. And I want to thank everybody that participated in Rescue Squad's road sale. They sold out. That was a very good fundraiser for Rescue Squad, and thank everybody for supporting the Rescue Squad. The other thing I have is I asked Paul Dietrich to look into 631 there, the amount of accidents we've had on 631. He's corresponded back and forth with the county engineer, and they have recommended a few odds and ends they can do to probably slow traffic down on 631. And Paul, if you could elaborate on some of that.
And this is specifically there at Shaw's, I think everybody knows, they're at Shaw's Corner, just, this side of, the Petersburg side of Church Road, that double set of curves. So they're gonna look at a couple engineering things to see what additional signage that they can do, and, and look at some other things that they can do. It's not really warranted, they can't lower the speed limit. They can possibly lower the advisory, speed limit and put up some more curve ahead type signs and maybe some chevrons to enhance the visibility to make sure everybody is aware of the curve. Everybody that's local to the area knows those curves and knows obviously when it's icy out, that's usually when we see a lot of the accidents increases. When we have slippery wet weather or icy roads, there's always an accident on that set of curves. So anything we can do to just make the public aware that is a dangerous curve when it is icy, that's going to be part of what I think the county's focus on.
The stuff they put on Route 50 there for that anti-skid.
We discussed that too.
That
was an experiment. If you remember when the DOT came out with that was an experimental project that the DOT, they actually received federal federal highway funds to do that project. They did it about 4 different state highways throughout the state. Some areas have shown some areas where that has actually raveled up and lost, kind of come unadhered from the pavement. So he's going to do some investigation and talk to the DOT to see what they're seeing as what results they've had. Just from a longevity standpoint, obviously, depending on what type of contractor, where that was located at, did they have the same weather conditions when it was installed compared to, so I think he's going to do some investigation to see if maybe that is potentially warranted, and that might be a spot where the county could test it, on a county road system.
How about the reflectors on the road? I mean, those night reflectors, some of the highways in the south, it's so visually easy to see where curves are and everything else. Why can't they just do that? Doesn't seem like that's that difficult to do.
They can, but not all the accidents that we've had are
Daytime, nighttime is.
But nighttime is
Sure.
also,
sure.
it's dangerous at night because people are coming around and there's reflection of lights and everything else.
I'll pass that on. That's definitely, they can put, reflectors just off the shoulder line also, to kind of make sure not just where the center line is, but where that shoulder is, because obviously, on a wet, rainy night, it's sometimes hard to see that white line to.
We got somebody, they're looking at it, they're trying to address it, and I think whatever we can do, if they need a letter of support or resolution, I don't know.
I forwarded you his email response. That was the same day that I talked to him, so he responded fairly quickly, so I think that he's going to take a look at it.
Which is very good. Thank you,
Yes.
Paul.
You're
That's all I have.
So I only have one question, Paul, just to follow up on road. What's up with Corson Tavern Road? I mean, where are we at with that?
That, I did talk to the county engineer about that one. He is triaging different projects based on funding and timelines and what he could get out quickly. Hope Corson was further along, so he's able to get Hope Corson Road out. Corson Tavern, he's hoping to be able to have out to bid sometime later this year.
They actually just sent out the easement letters to the property owners on Corson Tavern Road. And
I mean, it really is
there was
falling
bad.
apart.
And that was one of the problems with, because to do some of the drainage and some of the improvements, they needed some easements and secure before they could start the project.
Now it's gonna be Corson Tavern with new bridge and everything all the way out to Route 50.
Correct.
Okay.
Or at least that's my understanding. Actually, the new bridge is a different project, so it should be fairly, that New Bridge had its own issues with easement, so I can check with him on New Bridge because he had separate easement issues on New Bridge, separate from Corson Tavern.
I mean, the other half got done faster because the senator/congressman lived there, and I understand that. But, can we get him to move up all right?
I don't even know how to respond to that one, so.
Because it's
I
true.
Mayor, I have one other thing along this same subject matter from a public safety standpoint. Last week, I received some complaints, or concerns, I should say, via email from some of the business owners along Route 50 in Tuckahoe regarding speeding of vehicles. I know we've had this subject matter come up before. I sent the email over to Paul. He reminded me of a study that he did, an analysis of that stretch of roadway back in July of last year, where some of the vehicles had a speeding rate in the 85th percentile of the particular software that he was using. And obviously, final result of the report was that there is a speeding concern. So because the lieutenant is here this evening, I just thought I'd bring it to the committee's attention and maybe we can work to address some of the concerns.
Okay, great.
And the sad part is, they're gonna sit there and write tickets in the center of Tuckahoe, and there's gonna be all the local people. And maybe the people that complain.
All right, let's move on with the presentation this evening. So tonight, we're honoring Country Shore Women's Club on their 50th anniversary. We have a resolution here that reads, "The County Shore Women's Club is a chapter of New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs and a proud member of the General Federation of Women's Clubs, which is one of the world's largest and oldest women's volunteer community service organizations. The Country Shore Women's Club of Upper Township is celebrating their 50th anniversary as a volunteer service organization dedicated to enhancing the lives of others through their volunteer activities. All proceeds from the various fundraisers of the Country Shore Women's Club is generously given back to the community in the form of scholarships and monetary awards to local organizations and groups, whereas our entire community has benefited from the significant contributions of Country Shore Women's Club through their service efforts, which include donating warm outerwear to Woodbine Elementary School, Christmas cookies for the Woodbine Developmental Center patients, giving tree gifts for those in need, and children's blankets for CASA. It is a pleasure to extend this expression of our esteem and best wishes to the Country Shore Women's Club and members of this organization on their memorable occasion celebrating their 50th anniversary. So now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee in Cape May County that the Township Committee does hereby commend the Country Shore Women's Club upon this important occasion and for its many years of service to the community. So I don't know if we have any representatives this evening. Would you guys come up and we can present this to you? And hope that there'll be another 50 years in store. I know that I don't plan on being here 100 years, so I'm happy to be here for the 50th anniversary.
Come right around this way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all that you do for the community and for individuals. Here's a copy of the resolution. This will be a permanent record in the township, so, again, 50 years from now, when your organization is 100 years old, they can come back and this will still be a permanent part of the record, so.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Oh, yeah, you get a picture? Come on, hey, let's get a picture. Come on, I forgot. That's my fault.
In front of the mirror?
That's it, block me out. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Barbara, would you move on to the resolutions, please?
Item number 2 under resolutions, honoring the heroic efforts of James and Stephanie Cox.
Move the resolution. Second.
For those of you that don't know, these are the 2 individuals that assisted in that fire that took place across from Wawa. So we look forward to honoring them as well.
And we'll have a presentation for them also at a future meeting. Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 3, honoring the heroic efforts of the emergency responders.
Move the resolution. Second.
And for the same fire and rescue efforts that took place.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 4, declaring certain township property and equipment as surplus and authorizing its disposal by sale on an online auction website.
Move the resolution.
Second.
What are we getting rid of?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yep.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, appointing Frank Garashini III to serve as an additional municipal prosecutor on an as-needed basis.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 6, appointing Frank El Corrado to act as special legal counsel.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 7, appointing Thomas G. Smith to act as special legal counsel regarding tax court matters and matters in which the regular township solicitor may have a conflict of interest.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Consenting to the Cape May County proposed water quality management amendment.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Paul, is there anything you want to?
Yes, we actually looked at this back in 2012 as part of our wastewater management planning and plan endorsement process. And at the time, the county had done a build-out of the township based on our current zoning. It was never submitted to the DEP because of timing, and then they ultimately said, oh, well, you're too late, you can't submit. So we're 7 years later, now the DEP is funding the county to do the project again, and we're back in the same position. The report is essentially the same report in format and documentation as what we had back in 2012. It has been updated based on our most current recent master plan reexamination and the rezoning that we did in the Northmore Town Center. And then because of that, it also updated the septic area, because it offset different things in in areas. So, but it's essentially the same format and methodology that was done back in 2012.
Okay. Paul, Dan, you have anything to add?
No. Paul summed it up well.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 9, authorizing the mayor and township clerk to serve as sign a contract with Christopher Mention, architect for architectural services. And this would be for the old town hall building.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson? Mr. Young?
Yes.
Yes.
Moving right along.
She moved quick that time.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Sorry about that. Item number 10, authorizing the Greater Tuckahoe Area Merchants Association 8th Annual Tour de Tuckahoe Bike Rally to be held at Amanda's Field in Upper Township on Saturday, May 4th, 2019.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 11, revised temporary budget.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 12, authorizing the purchase of a stretcher mount system in the amount of $11,157.25 with funds from the 2018 capital improvement bond ordinance.
Move the
Motion to
resolution.
authorize. Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 13, this is public hearing. Public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 1, 2019, and ordinance amending revised general ordinance, chapter 20 of the Code of Upper Township. This is public hearing.
Okay, before I open it up to the public for any comments, is there any final comments, Paul, from you or any of the committee, or Dan?
I mean, if I can give a, I mean, this is some minor technical changes to the land use ordinance, specifically in the Pinelands area. These changes were due to when the Pinelands Commission adjusted the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan. It required an update to our ordinance, and pursuant to the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan, we're making these ordinance revisions. Does not affect any zoning within any of the lands within the Pinelands or change what you can essentially do on the properties. It's really an esoteric change in some of their process and procedures.
It's really just to make our ordinance consistent with Pineland's requirements.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other comment, I'm going to open up to the public. Would anyone in the public like to comment on the ordinance that we are about to hold a hearing on with respect to the zoning changes that our engineer just explained? Okay, let the record reflect that there was no public comment. I'll close the public hearing portion and entertain a motion for adoption.
Motion to adopt ordinance 1-2019.
Have a first and a second. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 14, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 2, 2019, and ordinance amending revised general ordinance, chapter 25, emergency medical services of the Code of Upper Township. And if you choose to introduce this ordinance, if we could have the public hearing on March 25th, that would work well.
And that's our billing ordinance, right? Is there change in our billing?
Yes.
Yes.
Fees.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, we introduce ordinance number 2 of 2019 with a March 23rd or 25th public hearing.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 15, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 3, 2019, and ordinance adopting section 3-19 of Chapter 3 of the Code of Upper Township. And again, the public hearing on March 25th.
And this one is our Knox box ordinance. So I would like to make a motion, we introduce ordinance number 3 of 2019 with the March 25th hearing.
Second. And Dan, just so I'm correct, this would affect new buildings and
Commercial
remodeled
buildings, 3-unit residential buildings and commercial buildings, not banks and savings and loans and that such, or buildings that have 24-hour security, but only new or site plan amendments, upgraded buildings, if you receive zoning or planning approval. Obviously, a new commercial building needs planning board or zoning board approval. So from here on out, they would have to have these boxes that allow access.
And I know that that this has been a request from, our fire districts. I guess my one question is will we be, and I'm, personally thinking of the pharmacies that'll be affected by this, CVS's, those kind of things where technically they're not allowed to have them, but if the municipality requires
If they
it.
wanted them, they could go and talk to the local fire district, and I'm sure they'll install it.
Right.
But they're not going to be required to do it unless they upgrade their property, which requires a site plan, okay, an approval from either the zoning or planning, or a new building's built.
But if a new pharmacy was built tomorrow and they're not supposed to have one under federal guidelines, we can't make them put one there.
No, it's actually the state that
Yeah.
has the restriction on it, mainly because of, obviously, the.
Well, state law will
controlled substance.
supersede ours.
However, they do allow it with the municipality saying that that's part of their ordinance. So we would probably have to at least supply that as a record if they're going forward with an application or something like that.
I mean, then existing buildings, it's voluntary. If they want to do it, they can do it. I mean, it's,
Well, it makes sense,
It's-
obviously, then breaking windows and everything else to get into the building. So. All right, so we have a first and a second to introduce, would you call the roll?
Mr. Farr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 16, under new business, Global Premier Soccer, GPS, request use of Tyler Davis Field at the Amanda's Field Recreation Complex, games and practices beginning March 4th, 2019 through December 6th of 2019.
Well, they agreed to all the fees and met all the documentation.
Yes, you should have all that on your, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure we have it on the record. All right, thank you.
So are you making a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Farr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 17, Greater Tuckahoe Area Merchants Association requests to hold a raffle number 513 and raffle 514 on Saturday, May 4th at Amanda's Field.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 18, we have the construction code rate changes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I don't know if you have any questions on those. That's an annual report, and there's some fees he asked for an increase and some recommended a decrease.
And this is a requirement this is a state statute, they have to
We
operate.
have to try and equalize, or we can run it at a deficit, and we ran at an 18,000 plus deficit last year, and this is to try and equalize that.
Well, I think it's, years ago when we kept them at a deficit, it was because we were in bad economic times, and
Right.
I think, not that things are booming now, but I mean, it's a little bit better than it was 10 years ago.
And what'll happen is we'll come back with an ordinance amendment to
Yeah.
change the fees.
Okay. So do you need a motion to accept the fees?
Move forward, yes.
I just want to make sure you're aware that we're bringing an ordinance at a later date, which will
Okay.
reflect those recommendations.
Okay.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. We have to pay the bills.
Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated in the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
There are 3 reports from our municipal departments, Animal Control, Municipal Court, and the Green Team. These will all be available upon request tomorrow at the clerk's office, but I'll make a motion to accept these reports.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggin?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
So at this time, we're going to open up to the public to see if anyone would like to address the Township Committee. Now's the time to do so. I would ask that you would come up to the podium, state your name and your reason for addressing the Township Committee.
Good evening. I'm Blanche Adams, residing in Steelmantown, and here representing the Upper Township Business Association tonight. 2 comments. The first is about regulation of marijuana. And I noticed that in the 2018 Master Plan Reexamination Report, the recommendation was made that the township address that through like land use controls or regulation, other kinds of controls or regulations. So as that's a topic that's really in the news lately, I was wondering if you're addressing that or like where are we going with that as in terms of Upper Township?
Well, I think it hasn't been addressed at this point only because I think we're waiting to see how far this thing progressed and what are the statutory requirements that go along with it. I think if you ask my colleagues to right or left of me, they would tell you that they'll support any restriction that we possibly can. But what we have done in the past is we've always tried to put an ordinance in place that will at least mimic or correspond to what the state statute says. We try and not be more restrictive, but we try and not be less restrictive either. So I guess to make a long story short, if I did a straw poll right now, I'm pretty confident I'd tell you that it'd be very difficult to find the support to allow that to take place in the township. And that's probably where this will go. But I think we've been waiting to see what the statute and really where this is going. I'm not personally opposed to the medical marijuana part of it because I think there's a lot to support that it does help, but I think it's more of a recreational thing that we have certainly more opposition to than anything.
Okay. Are there regulations now that if a medical marijuana facility wanted to open in Upper Township? Are there any
right now, there's a statute that limits the amount of dispensaries in the state to begin with.
Okay.
And they're pretty much established. I think there's only a very small amount, 5 might be expanded to 10 or something. I think that's something that we will take a look at, but you really need a pretty large area to do it the way our state does it. It's different than other states. Most of them are in industrial areas where they have substantial amount of room to support what they need to supply, I don't know if medication's the right way of saying it, but, it is something we're following. Let's put it that way.
Okay, good. Thank you. And my second point is just to make an announcement about a new event that the Upper Township Business Association is putting on, and that's a restaurant week. So we're having our restaurant week the last week in March. It will run March 24th through the 29th, which is a Sunday through Friday. So we just wanted to let you know about what's happening, and you'll get more information. The advertising will start, and we'll give you more information. We're excited because not just restaurants, of course, will benefit, but anytime we bring more people into the township, all the businesses will hopefully benefit from that.
And that's something we can probably put a link on our website.
Yes, that we would love
And
that. So I'll
actually,
get together with Scott.
We could probably advertise it on UTTV too.
Yep.
So,
That's a great idea.
if you could get the information to Paul there, if we can,
Will do. Okay.
because, like I said, anything we can do to benefit Upper Township.
And I appreciate your continued support of the business association and the business community too. So I'll be sure to get that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the Township Committee?
I'm Ralph Cooper, 6 Gladwin Drive, speaking as the chairperson of the Green Team. We're having our first evening meeting tomorrow night of the new year. It's going to be at the library at 6 o'clock. It was suggested back in January, you might want to try some evening meetings to try to get some more volunteers to come out. So we're going to try it tomorrow night, starting at 6 o'clock. And it'll just give us a chance that people that come can find out what the Green Team is doing, and we can also hear what the citizens might want to do as far as sustainability projects. And we'll do the same thing again in March. Also, I want to let you know that on Wednesday night, we're having a meeting of the Green Teams in Atlantic and Cape May County. It's going to be over at the ACUA in Atlantic County, but we're having the spokesperson come up from the Cape May County MUA to talk about plastic recycling and what the county has faced and what they're going to try to do. And we hopefully get some people come down from the state to talk about it too, because as you've read in the paper, the market for plastic has pretty much evaporated. So even though we're doing single stream recycling and collecting it, there's really nowhere it's going right now. It's just stacking up in the landfill area, not in the landfill, but next to it.
A buddy of mine's in the trash business, and I tell you, maybe not in this county, but in other counties, they're just burying it.
Right, we're not going to bury it, but that's what we're looking at. Also, to let you know, I couldn't get here earlier, so I'm speaking during the public portion of the meeting, but I was next door at the school board meeting. I know it's been mentioned before, but if there's some way that the county, the township and the school board could work out scheduling, I think to have both meetings at exactly the same time is a little hard for the community, even though you don't get much public turnout at either one. The one over there was pretty interesting with their talking about a major shortfall of money over the coming year with the state cuts. I left there with a very unsettled feeling that they had a number they threw out of $3.9 million over the next few years that they're going to be short, and talking about a 19-cent increase. So those two things, there'll be more in the paper, I'm sure, but it was rather disconcerting to hear that, living here in the township.
And Ralph, we've tried to address this in the past, and it's one of the reasons why we are now taping our workshop meetings, so that there would be an opportunity, to potentially see both. We have the ability to change our meetings a little bit, with the proper documentation and statements, open meeting statements that we're required to do. And so, traditionally we're always the second and fourth Mondays. But one of the things that we've tried to do is at least open it up as an opportunity we've been taping the workshops and they are available. 19 cents is certainly scary, in case you missed ours, we're going to be somewhere around 2.5 cents so we're trying to do whatever we can on our end to take care of the situation, so.
Okay.
Well, the problem is if they have a 19-cent increase, that's more than 2%.
Well, that's what we talked about. This is over several years, but
Lower revenues.
Yeah, there's
Revenues are down, that's why the increase might be allowed. I don't know the details, but I'm assuming that's what's going on.
they didn't have too many details. But it's something they're talking about.
Not tax raising revenue, the cap, spending cap.
I guess I'm bringing up the topic because I tend to follow these agendas of groups to know where I could spend my time going to a meeting, and that topic sort of, maybe it was discussed before, but I kind of missed it, on the potential shortfall. And they're talking about a rally up in Trenton to have people go up.
It's
and
due to new state funding formulas.
the first part of March.
Such as ours,
Yeah.
gave them to other, or put it back into the state treasury.
So I talked to them to have them come and talk to the business association, because that'd be kind of relevant, and maybe we'll see what develops from that. So that's about it. The last thing we're going to do, I said, we're going to have this roundtable tomorrow night. We'll try the same thing in March. Hopefully get the word out some more and get more people involved in the green team. We're also working on the startup of some of the refreshing of the actions to get the township recertified again this year. We're doing a lot of things that are really quite well done. The one example I will share with you was a couple years ago, we passed the ordinance on the not releasing helium balloons in the township. Over the past 2 years, we've had a number of other communities have done that. There's now 7 in the county. And so we're using our model to actually write a new action for Sustainable Jersey to get the other towns in New Jersey to follow the same idea of banning the release of helium balloons. It's a small thing, but I think it's important that towns know about that, and it's something we can just build on with other actions too. So our best practice is now being pushed up to other towns. That's a good thing.
Good to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else this evening? Okay, it appears that there is no further public comment, so I'll close the public comment portion and turn to Mr. Coggins for an entertainment for motion with executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Contract negotiation for 4th of July fireworks, for J.A. Montgomery, for Cape May County Open Space Lease Agreement, for land surveying services, and for bond counsel, and also personnel. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality.
Second. Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you all for attending this evening. Please have a great week and drive safely home.